We should also be cautious about the motivation of the one who provides information. That's why the scriptures warn us against priestcraft.
In the Lord's commandment to the people of this day, tithing is 1/10 of all their interest annually, which is understood to mean income. The First Presidency has said no one is justified in making any other statement than this. We pay tithing, as the Savior taught, by bringing the tithes into the storehouse. We do this by paying our tithing to our bishop or branch president. We do not pay tithing by contributing to our favorite charities. The contributions we should make to charities come from our own funds, not from the tithes we are commanded to pay to the storehouse of the Lord. The Lord has directed by revelation that the expenditure of his tithes will be directed by his servants, the First Presidency, the Quorum of the 12, and the presiding bishopric.
We do not have the answers to all of the world's problems. They've not been revealed.
Travis Wingate song. February 24th, 1834. Joseph Smith wrote what has become Section 103. The saints had been scattered from their attempts to gather to the new headquarters of Zion, and had the Zion's camp, from whom he had selected those to become of the 12 apostles the next year. Soon after this, he would be changing the name by vote of those in the meeting to the Church of the Latter-day Saints. Not the Church of Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because of the content of this, it is obvious that anybody who dares turn Joseph Smith Christian is an apostate. Full disclosure, I just found out bad news. Mormons have gone beyond the point of no return. There is no hope of salvation for Mormons in this valley, specifically those who do the bidding of this church. So yes, even though the videos I've been doing lately shows my fury and wrath against this church, nope, they did something that is inexcusable that I found out about today. And it was recently when they did it. From the last time I checked, they did it. Inexcusable. They don't even qualify for outer darkness. That's how evil they are for what they did. And I can't even put the theme song in the description below for you to know, because that's what caused it. I might be able to give you a clue for those of you who've been around to the end of, or was it the beginning of 2024? I'd have to check the last email. They will know when they have to watch my video, download it, and give a report to the corporate board. They will know. So, Section 103 was written specifically to educate the elders of the church and the church generally about why Joseph Smith set up his church for the latter days and the millennial Zion. So, even though he's talking about their time period, he's also talking about the similitude, the type and shadow for the latter day Zion. This is called the gift of seership, the gift of prophecy, the gift of revelation, as the head of the church with the keys of the man like Moses, the Jewish Christ. Verily I say unto you, my friends, behold, I will give unto you a revelation and a commandment. So he even tells you that you may know how to act in the discharge of your duties concerning the salvation and redemption of your brethren, who have been scattered on the land of Zion. Being driven and smitten by the hands of mine enemies. So yes, this is exactly why I am pissed. Because Mormons did this to one of the least of these, my brethren. You have done it unto me. And he's not talking about little children, where he says that it would be better for them that a noose hung around their neck and they be drowned in the sea. It's not talking about children. It's talking about investigators of the church. And no, it is not "it's me, Jesse." Being driven and smitten by the hands of mine enemies. Didn't know it, and yet here I did it again. On whom I will pour out my wrath without measure. In mine own due time. For I have suffered you thus far, that you might fill up the measure of your iniquities, that your cup might be full. It's time, Mormons. And that those who call themselves by my name he's talking about them in their day might be chastened for a little season with a sore and grievous chastisement, because they did not hearken unto the precepts and commandments which I gave unto you. Talks about the salt that has lost its savor shall be good for nothing and cast out to be trodden under the foot of men. So back in the days of the Jewish author who wrote that in the New Testament, the Jews would dump their food garbage onto the streets, thus salt. People would walk over it, as well as animals and horses and camels and goats and chickens and possums and honey badgers. Gotta lighten the mood somehow. Nothing will do it better than a honey badger. You don't mess with a honey badger. So the scattering of Mormons, the house of Israel. So, if you pollute morally and physically with the air, water, and ground of Zion, you have polluted your inheritance. Verse 15. Here's the decoder for Jewish prophecy scriptures. You understand that all pagan religions did the same thing, that they are not myths, they are prophecies and revelations of the latter days. You can now use this to decode them. Behold, I say unto you, the redemption of Zion must needs come by power. Therefore I will raise up unto my people a man who shall lead Mormons, like as Moses, like as Joseph Smith, the Jewish Christ. For Mormons are the children of Israel, the seed of Abraham. And there are the wise Mormons and there are the foolish Mormons. For the woman is the church. And ye must needs be led out of bondage of the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, by power and with a stretched out arm. The church of the devil, because there are only two churches for Mormons. Thus shall be the latter-day redemption of Zion. So we go back to the Book of Mormon. Remember, Nephi is not a literal history character. His brethren are not literal history characters. Nephi is the man like Moses, the Mormon. His brethren are the Mormons. They are the house of Israel. And it came to pass, 1 Nephi 22, in case I forgot, that after I, Nephi, had read the words which were engraven upon the plates of brass, which are described as the fulfillment of Ezekiel 37, containing more books than what Christians put in the Old Testament. Apparently even after the Babylonian captivity were in there, because Malachi got put in. Although, let's check, it may have been Jesus, who did not ascend, only resurrected, Jesus. And so, yes, the scriptures. Nephi is doing YouTube videos to Mormons from the scriptures. And Mormons are saying, we don't understand this. We don't understand you. Obviously, you're of the devil. And so they don't understand if it's spiritual. And Nephi has to explain to them basic knowledge that they did not understand as Mormon. Behold, they were manifest unto the prophet by the voice of the Spirit. word unto a seed? For by the Spirit are all things made known unto the prophets, which shall come upon Mormons according to the flesh. Fruit. You will know a false prophet by their failure of prophecy, or if they don't even acknowledge the gift of prophecy. That's an automatic failure. But a prophet who comes among them, Nephi, the man like Moses, the Mormon, prophesying to them from the scriptures, including those of Mormons, it is just the word that needs to occur according to the flesh. And thus it's both temporal and spiritual. The house of Israel, Mormons, will be scattered among all nations. But there might be another one coming. There are many in Salt Lake City Valley, down in the Utah County Valley, who don't know about Mormons who are scattered abroad around the world. Nonetheless, I will raise up a mighty nation of the United States of America upon the United States of America. And by them shall our seed be scattered. Dum, dum, dum. Trump to the fulfillment of prophecy again. And so the marvelous work among the Christians is different than the Book of Mormon going out under Joseph Smith. It's about gathering the keys of Moses, the Mormon, bringing them again out of captivity, and they shall be gathered to Zion. That they shall know the true Lord, who is their Savior and Redeemer, the Mighty One of Israel, brought out of obscurity and out of darkness. And the blood of that great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is the whore of all the earth, shall turn upon their own heads. For Mormons shall war among themselves, and the sword of their own hands shall fall upon their own heads, and they shall be drunken with their own blood. The world will be in World War III. And the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints shall fall into the pit which they dug to ensnare the Mormons. And all that fight against millennial Zion of the Mormon shall be destroyed. And that great whore who hath perverted the right ways of Joseph Smith. Yea, that great and abominable church shall tumble to the dust, and great shall be the fall of it. Satan shall have no more power over the hearts of Mormons or anyone else on the face of the earth. For the day soon cometh that all the proud and they that do wickedly shall be as stubble, and the day cometh that they must be burned. Malachi. For the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. And as Joseph Smith adds in his 1838 dream vision, for they, the Christians who come, shall burn you, and blame Jesus for it. For the time soon cometh that the fullness of the wrath of God shall be poured out among all Mormons. For he will not suffer that those wicked men shall destroy the righteous. And he shall preserve the righteous by his power, even if it so be that the fullness of his wrath must come, and the righteous be preserved, even unto the destruction of their enemies by fire. Saved by fire. Fulfilling the words of Moses. A prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you, like unto me. Him shall ye hear in all things, whatsoever he shall say unto you. Not a coincidence that it's right here. Section 101. Joseph Smith, December 16th, 1833, gave a parable prophecy of this event in the latter days. Everybody that works downtown at the church office building knows the church office building is the tower. Verse 51. And the enemy came by night, and broke down the hedge, and the servants, the leaders of the great and abominable church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, of the noblemen arose and were affrighted and fled, as the cowards they are. And the enemy destroyed their works. The hedge, the tower, the vineyard, and broke down the Mormons, scattering them all over the earth in a deportation. And then one of his servants, go and gather Mormons to Zion. The man like Moses. Well, I could put these pictures in, that would help you understand what I'm talking about. Also pissed with Microsoft again, fooling around on my computer. In the Joseph Smith Papers, 19 July 1840, Brigham Young refused to publish this because of what Joseph Smith says in here. Verse 7. Church wasn't going to publish it, so I did. With footnotes. Academia.edu. But before this, the time shall be when these who are now my friends shall become my enemies, and shall seek to take my life. And there are those now before me who will more furiously pursue me and more diligently seek my life and be more bloodthirsty upon my track than ever were those Danites in Missouri. You say among yourselves, as did them of old time in Mark, chapter 14, right? Yep. Is it I, and is it I? But I know these things by the visions of the Almighty. Brigham Young was a sensitive snowflake and refused to publish it. Do you know why? Do you know who was involved in the Last Supper? Joseph Smith comparing himself to Jesus? What was it all about? Yep, the enemy. Christians that come shall burn you and frame and blame Jesus. Flame and blame. Flamin'. Flame on, flame on. Verse 6. Joseph Smith adds commentary to verse 51 in section 101. All these years later. Then the enemy shall come as a thief in the night, and break down the hedge, and the tower, and the works. And the servants of the noblemen were affrighted and fled, and thus the enemy did scatter Mormons with a deportation. Even this nation will be on the very verge of crumbling to pieces and tumbling to the ground. And when the Constitution is upon the brink of ruin, Mormons will be the staff upon which the nation shall lean, as they shall bear away the Constitution from the very verge of destruction to be the law in Zion, which is agency. The whole Constitution can be summarized with one law: love, giving agency of life, liberty, and property. That will be the law of Zion. And so then comes the gathering. So I've been wondering how that was going to happen until this year. Last November, Oaks got leaked as the Christian who's coming to burn us and frame and blame Jesus for it. That could be our thumbnail picture. Second vision. Quote Malachi. With Oak's leak, using his own words against him, exposing he's the enemy. Trump has destroyed the federal government. 3 Nephi chapter 7. Trump will be assassinated. I've tried to warn Trump. If he's got a death wish, at least take down the church first. Then you can go and have your death wish. He failed for April, and so he's redoing it again here in October into November. Federal government is shut down. November 2nd, he will break his own United States history record of the longest shutdown in America. And it's expected to be permanent. 3 Nephi, chapter 7. It is not literal history. And so, federal employees are no longer receiving paychecks. They now are forced to go to the food banks. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not have enough Bishop Storehouse supplies for any of them in Utah. The church isn't even building up the supply. They know what's going on. Oak said he's causing it. And they're letting Mormons die, denying them support. After all, they're not paying tithing now, are they? So they're unworthy. Come November, women, children, infants, and the poor will also be without food. The pantries don't even have enough for the federal employees. And come November, it will be a bloodbath. I did the video exposing the Mormon in Congress in Utah. It's still in this file. Who, when realizing that Utah has to take care of themselves as an independent nation, because that's what Trump has been trying to get through to everybody. That's why he shut down the federal government. And Governor Cox and the Utah legislature are playing dumb. So House Speaker Mike Schultz, Mormon boy. Should we check to see where he served his mission? Let's see if they even have it. Should. He's a political figure. Although I don't know if they showed where Cox went on his mission. Maybe they're mission dodgers like Oaks. Those Danites. Come on. I've got laundry to change over. Seriously, Google? God, you suck. There we go. Got his own Wikipedia page. Lifelong resident of Hooper, Roy, and West Haven. That's Connecticut. Come on. Weber's County. Okay. But yeah, Roy. Oh, Hooper is also, yeah. Weber County, Roy, Weber County. This explains a lot. Working on his grandfather's cattle farm, general contractor's license, started building homes. So you're the cause of the housing crisis? Real estate developer. And president of Castle Creek Homes. And a good friend of Michael Hall. Who the hell is he? Our stake president Valley was a Hall. So yeah, they don't say where he went on a mission. That was his early life and career. So if he's Roy, he probably was a bad boy, raped some women and got drunk at the bar and got into fights. We can blame porn. You've not been paying attention to the news. It's only second to Ogden. Ogden. Orem is south. He summed up what I told you was the position this whole year, not just by Utah, but every other state in the Union who did not understand what Trump is doing. He is shutting down the federal government and transferring all authority to the states to run themselves. And none of the states are prepared. It takes time to prepare for what is about to happen. You can't just go, oh, you're starving? Okay, well, we'll form a committee to evaluate and make suggestions in a couple of years from now, and then we'll discuss it in the legislature in a committee for a few years. And then we'll discuss it as a full quorum body for a few years, and maybe we'll vote on it. Let me be clear, please. this problem, this is about November and mothers, infants, and children going without food. Just so that we're clear. Is not of Utah's making. Are you washing your hands of Mormons in Utah? It is the result of a shutdown in Washington, D.C. Yeah? Never read your Book of Mormon, have you? That has halted the federal funds Utah families rely on for basic nutrition. Try necessity. He is plain dumb. At least Governor Herbert gave lip service in 2020 to form a creeping death committee before he slaughtered the Mormons. But let's not lose sight of the root cause. Washington gridlock is hurting Utahns, and it needs to end. He's the House Speaker of Utah. Did he move? Because the car is in the wrong... Maybe... Good. Stay away from my window. And notice how it didn't take him very long to leave? God. And so he's saying he has no intention of having Congress in Utah discuss how to take care of Utah all by themselves since the federal government is shut down. And permanently, with 1.5 billion in storage being hoarded. Not even a tenth or a hundredth of what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is hoarding. It's up. 10,000th, likely. And so you go into the points for percentage. They have no intention of taking care of the poor and needy in Utah. They are going to have you die. Because the pantries aren't going to have enough for everybody. They've already had to deal with an additional increase to 4,000 homeless. And now they've got thousands of federal employees added to that. Come November, it's all gonna hit the fan. Women, infants, children, starving. survive without food. Apparently a lot of people are looking that up lately. Very well. Healthline. Between 8 and 21 days, according to Healthline, but I don't recognize Healthline. Within Health, Medical News Today, BBC, I trust them, McGill University, Office for Science and Society. Where is McGill University? I don't see you say. About McGill. Montreal. Ah. Okay. Canadians. Canucks. We can survive without food for about 70 days, but only 5 days without water. An Ethiopian woman claims to have not eaten or drank anything for 16 years. This is no mystery. She hasn't. She lied. So yes, when coupled with water, or if you have water and you go without food, no cheating for Fast Sunday, which is November's the 2nd. This Sunday. God, it's torture to do that to little kids. You're baptized now. You can't have food. What? What the hell kind of church is this? I'm starving. You know I'm starving. Both your breasts were not good enough for me as a baby. I needed more. You see how big I am? Taking away my candy money. Yeah, little kids will suffer. They're going to treat us just as Islamic parents abandoned and betrayed their children in Gaza. Through their religion. And then, of course, they blamed Israel. So there's Mike Schultz blaming the federal government when he is in the government of Utah, knowing that when the federal government fails, that it is his responsibility as the government of Utah to step up to save Utah. And he says, I'm not going to do it. Mormons can die for all I care. Governor Cox, as the governor, is going to let you die. As he's already trying to murder an innocent Mormon for an assassination that Governor Cox is covering up. Let the assassin get away with it. Yes, Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson. So you don't see how the Book of Mormon is about to be fulfilled in November, do you? Because once people don't have money for food, fear instantly takes over. And especially knowing that this government has $1.5 billion for such an event. And they ain't even gonna bother. They want you dead. And Oakes, who is the head of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with multi-trillions of dollars hoarded, who has an insufficient bishop's storehouse, because that's not the Lord's tithing. Is going to let you die. And came out and said in the press conference, I haven't been given any revelation on how to solve the world's problems that we caused because I got leaked. They're going to slaughter you. And as the Book of Mormon says, it's going to be turned back on their heads. And there will be a bloody war in the streets of Temple Square. Little baby ninjas. They were so furious with the homeless panhandling at Temple Square that they forced the legislature to cause Operation Rio Grande, to murder the homeless. So guess what's coming in greater numbers November? The church will have to flee for their lives. Holland is speaking to the youth tonight. The same youth that are going to be cut off from food come November. With the parents come November. And Holland is daring to talk to the youth. Anderson is going to be talking to young adults on the 2nd of November, or the 7th of November. 2nd, because that's the Sunday. So today is Holland. Everybody in Utah already knows they're not getting food for November. Everybody knows, but nobody knows that the church isn't prepared and don't give a damn about you.